Hey everybody, for those of you who don't know, my name's Hoopy, and today we're back in the garage on the old Ford 3930 tractor here. And what we got going on is I've got a power steering leak. I can leave this thing sit for about 2 or 3 days, and all the hydraulic fluid will drain out of the power steering pump here. So I'm gonna spray her down with some brake clean, get her cleaned off real good, fire this thing up, and see if we can't see if it starts to drip somewhere. Well, I got her cleaned off pretty good. I think she's good and dry here. Look around it. Make sure there ain't no obvious wet spots. If I can get a big head in here. Well, I couldn't see anything blatantly obviously leaking, but what scares me is up here on the bottom side of this. This is rusty and it looks kind of thin right in there. And I'm hoping that that housing isn't rusted out. So, I'm gonna make sure I get it really good and dry and clean. And then, like I said, we'll start the tractor and take a look at it here. Well, as I was wiping this off, I'm gonna try to get it in the camera here. You can see right there, where it's shiny. Well, that's where that metal meets that aluminum. I'm assuming there's probably an O-ring that seals that around there, and it must have gone bad because that oil's slowly starting to run out of that. So I've got to figure out how this housing comes off here and figure out what's in there that I need to replace. So after a real quick Google search there on my phone, it looks like that this housing is held on by a bolt and there's a filter behind it. And right there's an O-ring. So I'm gonna try to find me a filter and an O-ring to put in this thing. And after a real quick eBay search, $17.99, we're gonna have us a new one here in just a couple days. Well, it's been a few days since we last worked on the tractor, but I got the new filter, and there's our new O-ring. So let's get to her. So I've never been in here into this housing before. And near as I can tell is if I loosen this pipe fitting right here up and unscrew that down and then I pull this bolt. When I pull this bolt, the housing comes off. By taking that off, it'll give me enough room to wiggle it out of here. I'm hoping. There we go. I don't know what the heck's holding this thing on here. There ain't no other bolts in it. This is just a housing. There she goes. All right, I can tell you by looking at this now, I'm gonna have to pull that oil filter off there to get that to clear that. There's no way it's gonna come out of there without that. I hope I have a new one. If I do, I'll just go ahead and do that real quick. Well, I don't have an oil filter here, but I'll grab one tomorrow while I'm at work. I can go ahead and take this one off for now. But I take all my old oil filters and I throw them into the wood stove and let them burn off. They make really good heat, and once they're done burning, they're clean. I can throw them right in a scrap bucket and the junkyard takes them. So what do you guys do with your old oil filters? Let me know in the comments. All right, let's get this off here. Yep, fall right in there. It's a good place for you. And that right there is how my day is going. Anyhow, I gotta pull this bolt out right over here. I'm gonna move the camera to do it, and then I'll get back to this. All right, I got that bracket off. This line will move out of my way now. There's our old filter. The big hole goes to the inside. That's how it was on there. So something kind of funny about what I just told you, how the big hole goes to the inside. Well, that's actually the other side of the filter. The filter fell apart and that was stuck on there. I believe 100% that this O-ring right here is my culprit, the reason everything was leaking. And so we're gonna look at this housing though. We're gonna take it to the bench and clean it up real good and make sure there ain't nothing wrong with it. So as far as this housing goes, you can see where previous owners had repainted the tractor. You can see where this is all rusty, and here's their paint running down the back side. This housing all appears to be in pretty good shape. Looks like it might have had a little bit of surface rust right there where the O-ring sat, or close to it. I'll probably take some emery cloth, go around here, or a Brillo pad, one of the two. Just scratch that off there, smooth it up. All right, back over here on the tractor. We're gonna get this O-ring picked off here. What was that? There was a little stick hiding behind there. It fell out. I thought it was another O-ring. This O-ring here, it's got a good flat spot on it. It feels rough, and it's not very flexible anymore. I'd say this here is my issue. I'm gonna take some brake clean and a rag and go around here and clean this off real good. And as always, I put a little bit of grease on my O-rings before I put them on, just to help everything out. And I've actually got a comment saying that I should use silicone grease instead of petroleum grease so that it doesn't break down the O-ring, but I can't see the difference in petroleum grease and this hydraulic oil that it's sealing off. So I don't know what the difference there would be, but yeah. That O-ring looks a lot better on there. It's actually puffed out. That means the housing's gonna go back on even harder than it came off. Well, we got our new filter. Ooh, hey now. Okay, let's get that middle. Oh, you stay there. That kit came with a new washer for this bolt, and it's got a rubber seal on it. So I'm gonna make sure I use that. Okay, now I'll put that back on. I'm gonna go get a 1/2-inch wrench. Oh boy, all right. I'll probably have to do that part off camera because I can't fit in here and film. So I'm gonna get that line all tightened back up, and we'll top her off and see if she leaks still. Well, I went ahead and got everything buttoned back up and ready to go. And I told you we'd start it and see if there's no leaks, but I kind of forgot that, you know, I don't have an oil filter. So I went ahead and made myself a note. This way I don't go ahead and try to start the tractor. So tomorrow after work, whenever I get an oil filter, we'll put this together and we'll go for it. Hey everybody, it's a new day in the shop, and look what I managed to remember after work. So we're gonna spin this on here, and we're gonna fire this thing up, and we're gonna see if our power steering is leaking anymore. After we fill it up, that is. All right, we got her full. She'll need a little more after we start it and turn the wheels back and forth. But yeah. Well, she's full. She's running over. Well, that appears to have solved my leaking issue. Because before it would just start running out around that housing. So there you go. There was replacing the filter and O-ring and fixing your leaky power steering pump on your Ford 3930 tractor. This applies to some other models too. You just have to look it up and see which ones. So there you have it. She's fixed. So if you guys like videos like this, go check out the rest of my channel. Thanks for watching.